welcome everybody to this evening's Crypto for Beginners. So today is Monday, the 8th of March. I've got a lot of people listening in live. Obviously, we share these on Listen Again as well. So I'll just press a few buttons and hopefully I'll be able to share my screen, hoping that my MacBook Air is a bit less crotchy as it's been all day. So if I could just have a thumbs up, if I can see some slides. Looking at you, thanks, Nick. There he is. Well, a man that's multitasking. He's drinking and he's giving me a thumbs up. So welcome. Quick disclaimer before we get started. The information that I'll be giving you this evening is not investment advice, financial advice or trading advice. We're not a financial advice business. So if you wish to take financial advice, please do. This evening's content is really information, education and inspiration around Dacxi as a business. So I've recently started doing these presentations once a week because we are in so much demand as a business. We're actually quite famous, if I may be so bold, for this presentation. Dacxi as a business specializes in helping people get into crypto, generally from a position of knowing a little bit, but not too much. Most of our platform users know what Bitcoin is, but really just want to get educated around the space. And for nearly everyone that uses our platform, it's the first time that they've purchased crypto. So for those that don't know, which I think is most of the people on this call, my name's Katharine. I'm Managing Director for Dacxi in the UK and Europe, and I try and come on once a fortnight just to meet some of our new customers and also tell you about crypto, which is a subject that I'm very passionate about. So I'm going to talk for about 20-25 minutes, something like that. We try and keep the presentations quite short. I know it's late and lots of people need a glass of wine, particularly if your children went back to primary school today. In the UK, of course, we're in lockdown and the schools finally went back today, which is fantastic. Maybe that's why Nick's hitting the wine so hard. So we will be covering the basics of crypto, how it works, what goes on, really just sort of the fundamentals of the industry, how people are making money out of crypto right now, what to avoid. Obviously, there have unfortunately been some unreputable businesses in our space. So really just keeping yourself safe, which of course is paramount. Where we're at in the investment cycle right now, what we think is going on, where we think the market might go. And of course, if you wish to, how you can get involved. So loads to cover in the next 20 minutes or so. So quick introduction to me. I am obviously MD of Dacxi right now. It's my third blockchain business. So I have books on Amazon that I have co-authored, that I have published about crypto. So it's a book of money and finance. I contributed the chapter about crypto. So the editor wanted to include crypto and came to Dacxi as a business rather than any of the other exchanges, which is a huge compliment. We're award-winning, both as a business and me personally. So we've recently been very proud to be granted the top FinTech 50 from TechCrunch, and I was nominated for a Women in Crypto Power List. And I spent a lot of time writing for the press about crypto. So that's anything from crypto magazines to FinTech magazines, to banking reviews. And we do also get coverage in mainstream daily press in the UK, which is fantastic. I speak quite a lot. I speak at seminars and events and on podcasts. And normally I'm just talking about crypto, where the market's going, who's buying crypto and why. I talk a lot about adoption, which you'll hear a bit about in this presentation. And I'm really passionate about crypto for wealth. And also really retail investors being able to improve their financial standing through crypto. I also have a very well-read blog, which is called Adventures of a Unicorn, which is about scaling up Dacxi. It's my personal blog, and it's syndicated by a number of publications. So I write about crypto, wealth creation, female financial empowerment. I'm very impassioned by. Today is actually Women's Day, International Women's Day, the day we're broadcasting. And really just a lot about the financial world that we find ourselves in. I also sit on the board of Crypto UK, which is the UK trade body. So I have a lot of interaction with sort of crypto as an industry at a high level. So hopefully in the next few slides, I will have some information for you that you will find interesting, and I'm well placed to deliver it to you. So I just want to talk about what's going on in the UK right now. I'm certainly not trying to depress anybody. I think everyone knows that we're living through some truly dreadful times. So I think it's no exaggeration to say the UK has a wealth crisis. You'll hear us use the word wealth a lot. It's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? We're quite obsessive about the word wealth. And the reason for that is that we're not a trading platform. If you want to trade crypto, there are other platforms that are better placed to help you, have more sophisticated trading tools. Most of our customers are looking to hold their crypto for any period of time that they choose. It's totally up to them. But most of our customers will say they're looking really for sort of a 6, 12 or 18 month period. So really they're looking for crypto to build their wealth. So of course, coronavirus has been very challenging from a global economic perspective. It's estimated to have wiped around 9 trillion off global markets. The bill in the UK for coronavirus is greater than the bill for World War II. And of course, it's had a dreadful effect on our most valuable companies. So down about 13%. We lost about 30% overnight, of course, as COVID hit. So one of the things that's been very challenging, of course, is that we have some very low interest rates. So the Bank of England base rate is the lowest rate on record. It's been around for a couple of 100 years. So obviously that's very bad news for people that have cash in the bank. So if you do have cash, you will see that really it's less than 1% typically as a return. And of course, it's likely that inflation is outstripping that. So of course, it's costing you money in real terms to leave it in the bank. There's a lot of analysts, and I share this opinion, that think we will see negative interest rates. I was talking about that in the press late last year, just as the Bank of England wrote to other banks to say, if we bring in negative interest rates, can your IT cope with that? So it's definitely my opinion that we will see negative interest rates in the UK this year. And I'm even more convinced now. I've seen the Chancellor's announcement last week, just because there's no substantial tax increases, which we're likely to need to be able to pay off the Corona bill. So we talk a lot to property investors. We have quite a lot of specialist content for property investors. Myself, I'm a very passionate property fan. My career started in property. I've got quite a big property portfolio. And obviously in the UK, we were very privileged to have a lot of growth in the property market over a long period of time. And of course, you know, lots of people that are making good money out of rental yields, they're a little bit lower right now. And of course, for all those people that used to traditionally invest in property, they're seeing some much lower yields and of course some much higher deposits. So the challenge for that, of course, is that, you know, to buy in the southeast of England where I'm based, you know, you're typically looking at, you know, 50, 60,000 pounds deposit. A lot of our platform users are just not sort of investing those levels and those sums really. So we talk to lots of people that are using crypto to grow their property deposit. We put out lots of content, particularly for property investors. So if you'd like to have some of that content, do get in touch with us and we can provide some of it for you. So I just want to talk about how crypto has performed. We have a bit of a joke at Dacxi that there's only 3 reasons people buy crypto, and that is growth, and also growth. So these are some of the growth figures for last year, so for 2020. So Bitcoin, of course, is the poster child for crypto. It's the one that most people have heard of. So in 2020, that appreciated 270%. Ethereum, which I think sort of few of the general public had heard of at the beginning of the year, did 450%. Litecoin did just shy of 200%. And our community coin, the Dacxi coin, did 27%. And over the same period, just by way of comparison, the FTSE dropped 15%. So we're not advice business. We don't tell people to purchase crypto, but really for those reasons alone, we know that a lot of our platform users are switching some of their cash to crypto. And it has historically, certainly in 2021 and also 2020, has been the best performing asset on the face of the planet. So I think a lot of people are just curious about crypto. And I don't mind saying that most of our platform users, if the UK was great, if interest rates on their current account were 6 or 7%, they wouldn't be looking to diversify. But I think there's a lot of savers and investors that are very worried about our current economic situation. So I just wanted to give you a quick run through of blockchain. I get quite annoyed when I see blockchain and crypto being used interchangeably as 2 concepts because they're not quite the same thing. So I just wanted to run through what blockchain is. So blockchain is very simply a new type of database. So historically, data would be held in one place. And if you wanted information, you would ping that database for the information. Blockchain simply means the information is held across the users. You'll sometimes hear that referred to as distributed ledger technology. And blockchain is really the foundation stone of cryptocurrency. So blockchain is not a new technology. It's been around for a couple of decades, and you'll see it deployed across a large number of industries. So I've worked in blockchain across a couple of businesses now. This great slide from Forbes shows you a number of household names that are using it, and you'll see it deployed across agriculture, logistics, diamonds, supply chain, health tech, and of course lots of applications across banking, payments, and what have you. So just simple things like there's a lot of chat about tracking all the coronavirus vaccines, which of course are key for getting us out of our current predicament, using blockchain to track them. So certainly a very, very well established technology. The other thing we like to talk about is all the payment businesses that are coming on board with crypto. We're very interested to meet lots of people that purchased crypto 3-4 years ago. I've just come off a previous call with someone that declined to buy crypto, and specifically Bitcoin, in 2009. And there's lots of people that are buying crypto today that frankly wouldn't have touched it, 12 or 18 months ago. And I think there's a very question, is crypto real? Is it here to stay? Should I back this horse in the race, essentially? And I think the world's largest payment businesses, really getting involved is a very good sign. So Mastercard obviously is very well known. They have 80 patents in blockchain technology. Visa holds 24 patents in blockchain, and they're working very closely to link crypto platforms, like ourselves, with payment merchants. So they're actively working with their own businesses, which service 61 million merchants and 1 billion people. They also help inform global policymakers, including the World Economic Forum, to assist them in working out how to use crypto, and particularly central bank digital currencies, which I'll talk about. PayPal is a huge fan of crypto. It was announced, or I should say confirmed today, they're purchasing another crypto business called Curve. They're already live in 200 countries. They have 320 million users, and they already have crypto as part of their platform. So look, to have all these businesses integrating crypto technology and cryptocurrencies to their platforms at the cost of tens of millions, they're not doing that because they fancy it. They're doing it because they think it's the incoming technology. And you'll hear people like me use the word adoption. I probably get a bit bored of saying it. But the idea is that crypto is an incoming technology. And we'll talk about what that means for the investment life cycle in a couple of slides' time. You'll also see a lot of the big retail businesses getting involved. So eBay is talking about accepting it. Amazon is already collaborating with blockchain businesses, and you can actually spend crypto today at Amazon, Starbucks, and Uber. So for our platform users, they're not looking to pay for next week's grocery shop with their crypto, but equally they're very interested to know how crypto is being integrated into the ecosystem, just in terms of how it affects prices positively. So if you follow us on social media, we share loads of content about companies that are coming to the table and are getting involved and are very positive, which is well worth taking a view of. So one of the other things you'll hear a lot of chat about is what's called central bank digital currencies, which is a very long way of saying that a lot of the world's banks, so the country's banks, are looking at using crypto. So moving away from physical currency and into a digitized version. So the World Economic Forum reports that about 80% of the world's central banks are looking to digitize their currency, and that does actually include our very own Bank of England. The EU is quite ahead of that curve, so they've said they'll release some new guidelines by 2024, which will help make payments across the EU through the various countries much more streamlined, and they'll do that by using blockchain and crypto assets. So it's likely that even if someone says, like, I don't like crypto, it's not for me, I don't understand it, I don't like it, it is highly likely they'll be using it in the near future, possibly without even really knowing. The other thing you'll see is an awful lot of banks coming to the table. The argument for crypto, very briefly, is that it's a cheaper, faster, more efficient way of moving value. So the interesting thing about that is that the banks, of course, are very interested in reducing the cost. Gareth, could you make some muting in the background? I can't bring up the participant list, sorry. Thanks, just because I think we've got some late arrivals. For some reason, I can't do that. Oh, don't worry, I've just managed that, thanks. So I think for these major banks, tier one banks, hedge funds and asset managers coming to the table, 2 years ago, they were quite negative. The attitude was very much, crypto is scary, it won't work, you should be very wary of it. And fast forward to today, there's a huge number of really important city businesses talking very actively. So a great example of that's BlackRock. So BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager. They have just shy of $7 trillion assets under management. So they're launching crypto products. Their chief investment officer talks positively about crypto, particularly Bitcoin. And indeed, they are starting to, as they say, dabble. Not quite sure what the word dabble means as a technical phrase. Obviously, Citi and JP Morgan are tier one banks. You see a lot coming out from JP Morgan. It's almost like a drip effect, talking about crypto. DTCC is an infrastructure business. They are, probably haven't heard of them, but they actually are involved in the majority of, so clearing the majority of securities transactions. And they do close to 1.7 quadrillion, sort of huge number, in value worldwide. So it's actually the highest value financial processor in the world by a long shot. They have crypto projects. A number of banks are now providing what's called custody, so helping other customers purchase crypto. There's a number of very famous hedge funds that are now diversifying into crypto, particularly as a hedge against inflation. And one of my favorite things is seeing banks come to the table. So a good example is Goldman Sachs, beginning of last summer. Absolutely not. Big call to their investors. Crypto is not an asset class, leave well alone. And yet by the end of the summer had hired a new global head of digital assets and was announcing that it was considering its own coin. So it's a really strong story of how lots of these companies have changed their mind. There's actually a survey which is published by Fidelity, which is quite a well-known asset manager, saying they estimate that a third of institutional investors now have crypto assets. So because of that, we've seen a lot of growth, particularly over the 2020-2021 period. So I just wanted to show you this graph. We try not to put too many graphs in, it's late at night, and we certainly don't want it to be an economics lecture. So the graph on the left is a very classic adoption curve. We've been using this graph for a number of years now. So it would apply to almost any incoming technology. So all those years ago, when we started putting TVs in our house, more recently when those TVs went flat screen, people getting microwaves in their houses, people getting mobile phones, which of course was unheard of when I was a kid. Fast forward to today, every single person you know has a smartphone that cost 800 quid. So you see sort of the early days when it's struggling to get off the ground, it's quite a difficult message to get out there. So second phase is growth. And that third phase is kind of that ski slope momentum when you see an idea really taking off. So the very interesting thing is if you compare that to the life cycle of Bitcoin, which is the graph on the right, so sort of inception really to now, my 7-year-old could tell you that those lines are the same. If you look at the other major cryptos, Ethereum, Litecoin, they would follow that graph. So it's certainly our opinion that there's been some great growth already, and it is our opinion as a business that there is some great growth to come. I'm actually speaking at a markets analysis meeting in the next couple of weeks. I think it's a month's time. It's the 7th of April, for part of the Wall Street Journal group. We're talking about that curve of adoption. It's just a very typical curve and what we'd expect to see moving forwards. So I do want to acknowledge that crypto can be volatile. So although that graph on the previous slide is over a long period, you do of course see substantial corrections in that crypto market. And I want to be very clear that there are often big surges of growth followed by a correction. And one of the reasons that we are not working with traders, we're very much working with people that want to hold, is that you need to be able to ride out those corrections. So look, you do expect to see growth followed by a correction, but of course the next high is a higher high. I know it sounds very odd, but the overall trend for that graph, of course, is positive. And it's a very desirable marketplace. So we're speaking today at about 8 p.m. on the 8th of March. I was doing some market research a couple of minutes before we came on live to broadcast live. So the last 24 hours has seen £32 billion worth of Bitcoin purchased. And those daily volumes are very, very substantial. So look, on each of those various growth spurts, you will absolutely see correction. But we really feel strongly that that fifth boom is motivated by institutional investors. And during that fifth boom, the majority of that asset class will transition into the pockets of the institutional investors. So we feel there's probably a 12, 24 month period of very strong growth before that levels off a little bit. So I just want to be very clear about what we mean by crypto. So it might surprise you to know there's over 8,600 cryptocurrencies today. So someone that's new to crypto and wants to get involved, that's quite a headache in terms of the research job. So at Dacxi, we're very focused on the coins that are stable and are desired by the institutions. We believe that that's what motivates the best capital growth. So those are primarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So again, massive trading volumes per day, last 24 hours, 32 billion on Bitcoin, 18 billion on Ethereum, and just shy of 3 billion on Litecoin. And those blue chip cryptos account for nearly all the demand. So typically they're in excess of 70% of all traded volume. So I'll say that one more time. There's 8,600 coins, and yet 3 of them make up 70% of the demand. So we're just not interested in weird, wacky, wonderful coins that are coming up morning, noon, and night, because we feel that in the short term, it's highly likely that the majority of those will cease to exist. I just want to tell you a little about Dacxi. So we're a digital asset exchange. So we're one of the ways that you can purchase crypto. You can do that using euros or, of course, our lovely British pounds. As I mentioned, we're very much designed for retail investors rather than traders. And we try and do that in a safe, secure, and easy way. We'll talk about online security in the next couple of slides. So we are licensed in Europe, and we have UK offices. We're based in the Oxford Centre of Innovation in central Oxford. There is an FCA list of exchanges that are permitted to operate in the UK. That was put out by the FCA just before Christmas. We are, of course, on that list, and the FCA is very clear for any UK-based retail investor. If they hold crypto on an exchange not on the list, they should move it immediately. We do have plans to list on the London Stock Exchange late this year, early next year, and we're the only exchange that has the education and community which we feel is necessary to support our user base. We do have some plans for crowdfunding. I'm really sorry I don't quite have time to discuss them in today's presentation, but do get hold of us if you'd like some more information on that. And we're very customer service focused. Unlike many of the exchanges that really focus on the younger millennial crowd, most of our customers are slightly older, and quite rightly, they've got some high standards for customer service. So we believe we have the largest number of client services representatives per user of any crypto business. And we're very big on human interaction. We don't like bots. We certainly don't leave people a week without an answer. We're very focused on providing quick and efficient service from a human being, as bizarre as it might sound. So one of the things that's very important to understand is that we have an A+ security rating. There's an independent rating from the Mozilla Observatory. Apologies, this is a few weeks old, but you're welcome to go online and check today. You can check that independently. So we have an A+ rating, which of course is the highest rating you can get. It's higher than a number of other crypto exchanges that we compete with. And if you compare that to a number of the high street banks, they tend to rate between C and F, because of course the high street banks, they're not technology businesses. So of course, for anyone that's keeping either their money in their current account or their crypto online, it's very key, of course, to keep yourself safe. So I just want to give you some cutting edge information. We released to the general public exactly 24 hours ago, 8 p.m. on Sunday, that we will be listing the Dacxi coin externally on the 29th of April. So we sell the coin at a substantial discount because it's not currently listed and not liquid, although of course it will be very shortly. We will also be withdrawing the ability for people to buy our Dacxi coin on its own on the 30th of March. And also there will be a 20% price increase at the same time. So hot off the press. And one of the reasons I was 2 minutes late because I was just making sure that I included that information. So we actually have a couple of opportunities through our platform. The only thing that Dacxi does is help retail investors purchase crypto in their own name. We're not a fund. We don't help traders. We don't trade crypto for anybody else. We don't do any derivatives. We literally just help people purchase crypto in their own account name, or in some cases in a company name. So our blue chip bundle is very popular. So whatever anyone puts on their platform in their account would be automatically split between 50% Bitcoin, 20% Ethereum, 10% Litecoin, and 20% Dacxi, with a little 10% bonus as a sales incentive. We also have a precious metals bundle, which is tokenized metals. That is really a wealth preservation product, which has been very popular during the coronavirus recession. A very similar idea, whatever someone puts in their account, if they specify they'd like precious metals, will split automatically between gold, silver, platinum, and the Dacxi coin. But as I mentioned, we also have our Dacxi community coin, a lot more information on our ecosystem and what our plans are for that coin as an up and coming coin. So it's currently priced at just over 3p per coin. You get a 40% bonus for purchasing. And as I mentioned, we'll have a 20% price increase, and we're actually withdrawing that product very shortly on the 30th of March. So we do accept company purchases. Transferring is free. We don't make any charge for that. And we are working currently on launching an ISA, which will be the first crypto ISA in the UK, which we are hugely excited about. So just a very quick slide on the buying process. You can set your account up online. We've actually had record growth in the UK over coronavirus whilst we've all been locked down. So of course, we've been locked down of various degrees for about 9 months of the last 12. So of course, it's a process you can do from home. Under the FCA, we're required to do what's called Know Your Customer for anti-money laundering reasons. So that means providing us with a copy of your passport and or driving license, so photographic ID, and also a proof of address, which is dated within 3 months, like a bank statement or a utility bill. Once your account is verified, you can fund your account and purchase crypto. And it's very user-friendly. It looks a lot like an online banking app, which of course you can see a little screenshot of just there. So next steps, hopefully you enjoyed this presentation. I try and talk 25 minutes, which I know I've just tickled over. So do engage with learning. There's a huge amount of learning on our website, which is under Dacxi.com. There's a learning page with loads of resources, ebooks, webinars, all sorts of lovely content. We hold a lot of online events like this one. So if you'd like to listen live, you can find those on our website, which is events.dacxi.com, or of course, talk to the person that introduced you to Dacxi. So look, I'm just going to stop sharing, and I'm also going to stop recording. So goodbye to anyone that's listening to listen again.